The clan of Blue Bloods. I do not know why they took that nickname when their number in Spain was never particularly large. Rulers, kings, princes. They always liked to poke their noses everywhere. But let them. You must know, my little larva, the Ventrue clan revolves around one thing: leadership. Both then and now, in these modern times, power and the desire for it is what drives them. They have to be on top. They have to rule, whether over the numerous kine, whether over the rest of the kindred, whether over anything their dead eyes look at. And it's been that way from the beginning. Ever since, in their opinion, the child of the Dark Father, Yinosh, or maybe it was Irad, we will never know for certain, took as his child a wise and noble man who would become the first antediluvian, they claim. And when Cain went on a long journey of knowledge, he was chosen to rule the first city. Antediluvian, you ask? Simply, one of the founders of the clans before the great flood that the one from above sent to wash away the sins of the first city. Antediluvians hid from the waters and the sun by slipping deep in the ground and then came out to eat their parents, as most of the kind drowned. Beings of incredible power who, if they still walk or sleep in this world, control events from the shadows and wait for a chance to rise again in the night. That's why we're here, my dear young man. That's why we're here, to find them and plunge the sword of Cain into their dry hearts and send them into oblivion. But I digress. Ventrue, they say, like our eldest, did not participate in the slaughter of Cain's children. That's what they believe. But he is still cursed like all the other grandchildren, and with them their descendants. Except us. Oh, enough with those interruptions. I guess by now you should know about the curses and flaws of each of the clans that walk this world. But I love that you have such a thirst for knowledge, not just for blood, like many others who came before you. It will be rewarded. See, my young worm, each of the clans has its own special abilities, disciplines if you like, but also one very big flaw. Some people notice it immediately, others need time before it shows up, but Ventrue know how to hide theirs. It is an open secret, which should not be mentioned in their presence so that their crowns do not wobble. They cannot take blood from just anyone. There must be someone special, whether men with charcoal hair, maidens under 17 flights, syphilitics, lunatics, crippled children, old men, rich people, even just people from their town of birth. The variations are endless, but each specimen of Ventrue clan must be fed exclusively and only from one type of kine. Maybe that's why they always act like they have a stick up their ass. As it happens, forefather Ventrue disappeared after the flood, and maybe he is still around somewhere among us. We await him with sharpened swords and sticks. As a clan, the first important thing they did in history was the founding of Sparta by Artemis. Unfortunately for her, Artemis was an angry viper, and in the first minutes of the fight between Carthage, ruled by the Brujas, she ate the tip of a spear. Though her remains were never found, I heard. Carthage fell, which the Brujas would never forgive the Ventrues from then until Gehenna. The blood of the children of Artemis did not burn with the same flame, but that is why they were more cunning. They helped and waited for the rise of Rome, with Colat at the head, who was the prince of the Eternal City. Why do you think it is called that, even in today's times? Ventrue took deep roots there, and today they have a powerful canopy and branches. The next great Ventrue, who I have met, and I can say that if I don't respect him, I at least admire him, is Mithras. Yes, that Mithras. Someone claims that he founded the cult of Mithraism in Persia and brought it to Rome, someone that he just took over everything for easier control of the masses. His cult stretched from Bretonia to Dalmatia. The kind loved him, even without blood ties, even kindred. But Mithras was a little short-sighted. You know, when you limit your herd to only one sex, don't be surprised that your number is not large. It's a shame that the fanatics from Judea with their crucified Yeshua ruined his grand plan, but they simply outnumbered him. But on Mithras, another night. Shame how he came to end. In those ancient times of Rome, the Ventrue learned that kind should not be ruled openly, but from the shadows and controlled carefully, because if the case was different, very soon they would appear at your doors with stakes and torches, a very unpleasant sight, trust me. Yes, kind should be under our souls, in our jaws, cages, dungeons, workshops and laboratories. But in these times when a rifle can fire 100 times a minute, when a push of a button can turn one's home into a hole in the ground, and at a simple command from the device of sorts, fire can come from the sky like a pillar, you need to be wiser and more careful than before. Yes, I'm sure some other specimens of the Sabbath will tell you otherwise. But aside from a few of us with a little more age under our belts, those who take it lightly how strong the kind has become were not in a position to run from the First Inquisition. No, where did I stop? Yes. Whatever, however, Rome had fallen, which was of little consequence to the Ventrue. They simply shifted their interests to the western lands, Bretonia and Francia, where the Holy Roman Empire had sprung up. They returned eventually to Italy, but it became a political battleground between the Ventrue and the La Sombra, a clan I admire in some respects and will tell you about another time. Be that as it may, the Ventrue soon sailed across the Mediterranean. They were great merchants, dukes, princes, but some, apart from the hunger for power and money, were captivated by chivalry and the concept of honor, and interestingly, they came to us. Although such Ventrue in Sabbath are little in numbers. Yes, there are those who are disgusted by the structure of the Camarilla, who at the beginning loved that arrangement but not to be ruled by the ancients, who stomp on your head ad aeternum. Oh, why am I talking like I don't count myself there? For now, I will tell you that in 1493, after the end of the first Anarch rebellion, things for us who were already more experienced in the night became a bit complicated, especially for our clan. Oh yes, we have often in our existence been exposed to vicissitudes. Anyway, when the Breton king Georg, what was the number? 3, I suppose, ruled the kingdom, and in our country the black and yellow drove out the Ottomans, I have already decided to go to rest, so you should talk about the Ventrue and their Uydurmas in those years and centuries with someone else. But I am for certain that their clan was a great conqueror of the Black Continent and Hind, and that they spread their tentacles well into the New World, where they had some problems with other clans because their things functioned differently, and with other beings that inhabit that world. In modern times, well, I can say that things move rather quickly, especially for me, I must admit. Tell me, young craftsman of flesh and bone, have you ever had a chance to see a zvierac? A kamenyak? No, wait, kuryak. Yes, a wolf. But have you ever seen a wolf in a form of human? Werewolf? I remember when our species was called that. How the ancient times were easy for our clan. Everyone was a power unto himself, and when one of us went too far in enjoying non-life, it was just necessary for you to go over the next hill to another village. That was quite known to annoy the moon beasts, but about them another time. Take a short break to write down what was said, and we will continue the lessons later.